Disclaimer, okay? um, hey, Leanne, you sure? You can sit there. Have more seats. We can squeeze somewhere. Come on, sit here. So not that far away. Yeah, yeah,
Right here, though.
yeah. We're going to make sure you got seated well. So, yeah. There you go. Elijah is smart, man. He's on the right seat there. So that's a comfortable one. Yeah, let me make sure I got everyone's name right. That is Keaton. Yeah. Okay, nice hairstyle there. Come on, sit the wrong. Sit beside. Sit beside. Yeah, yeah. Get a place to write your notes. Okay, you're gonna take notes. So, what's your name again? Niles. 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 Okay. That's your name, sir? Isaac. Isaac. We have Isaac. That's it. Okay. Liam is Liam. Okay, so Emma is Ema. Yeah, good name. I like that one. Okay. So I hope I got everyone's name down. What's your name, young man? Young lady? Yeah.
You should know that by now.
No, I'm just teasing you. So. Okay. Relax. At the same time, wanted to do a little bit of disclaimer that my English not that bad and not that good either. So, so bear with me. And if you have a problem with my expression or hearing me out, always feel free to ask questions. What are you saying? So feel free to ask the next one too as well. If you can figure it out, I can rephrase myself because I oftentimes misspoke as well. English not that good. Not like Naomi's English is perfect. She's very articulate. So everybody has their shortcomings. That's my shortcomings. So the second thing is my writing skill is not that good either. So, but I think a good facilitator. I'm gonna facilitate people like know other to help one another, and think from here I want to do some organizing things. I want you guys to form a habit. You might learn from other sessions to taking notes. You two young man need a notebook. Grab a
I was
notebook.
gonna go ask if I
Okay,
could.
yeah, get in some notebook. You
I
too.
forgot mine.
You forgot. There's a
Oh,
new
so it's over
notebook.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Buy
have
some
one.
notebook. Everybody taking notes, okay? So you form a habit to do it. I can compel you to do it. Don't bring your notes. Pay attention, okay? You might get called out. So I'm gonna examine some notes as well. So, or at least have a Elijah or Noah to throw your notes out to see what's going on. Give me evaluation, killer.
Better take some good notes.
That's my point. Today's 11/11. Now it's 11/11. That means a good start. Yeah. Okay. Somebody give us a rundown. Noah's not here. Naomi, can you take the lead to share with us what you've been doing with this session? Give the newcomers a little bit introduction.
So far, we've been writing essays and poems together.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be assigned a subject, and the subject will either be for an essay or a poem, and then we'll write that. We're given at least like a couple weeks or so to write it, and then we come back and read it out loud to everyone, and take turns going over our thoughts on each one of our poems or essay, and then we'll edit it and stuff together if it needs editing.
Okay. Every newcomers all take picture of these two books. You might want to ask your parents, whoever, to purchase this book for yourself. Okay, so this is a poetry book being using. Now, pass it along so everybody can take a picture. I want you to order it as soon as possible. All is able to be ordered on Amazon, so we might use those things to read some poems. We don't have a textbook for essay, but we do have essay writing processes. Um, so far, I do want to query a little bit with the ones has stayed in the class for a while to let them to share some impressions they have, what the class has helped them or not helping them, whatever. Benji, can you start?
Well, I think this class has definitely inspired me to look more into literature and definitely appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm. Those books. Mm-hmm.
What else? I think something that
Thank you.
I found very, I mean, this is a, I think the teachers here are very well equipped with the ability to, how do you say it? Criticize your writings, and I think that was good both to learn the manner of discipline in writing and as well as just how to improve in your writing skills. But yeah, those are some of my
Share
biggest
something?
impressions.
Yeah, feel free. Yeah.
I feel like this class also has a lot to do with learning to have public speaking as well.
Public speaking.
And sort of to help like accept criticism and praise. I think we actually did do an essay on
Sure.
criticism,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I did.
But also for me, I feel like at some point in my life I was very nervous on what other people would think and feel about the things that I wrote and the things that I did, and I feel like this class has helped me be okay with being like wrong and having criticism, and also like not being okay with being wrong, as well as like not in a bad way, but like love being encouraged and praised by the people that
inspired
love and inspire you.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big part of this class.
So you feel safe to be here or something. Yeah, that's a good part.
Like you can share
Yeah, you can share.
what's on your heart.
Yeah, even being vulnerable. Yeah, and also the good things we can share. Right, as the theme, things helpful as well. Right, to identify.
I think you really start seeing people differently through their writings.
Through the
See a
writing,
different
that's right. Yeah.
part of people when
Yeah.
you
Expound
it
more.
express
Yeah.
through, I don't have much to say. I just,
Okay.
that's what I kind of felt when I.
Yeah. We did learn a lot about you through your writings. Really appreciate that part. Yeah.
Some people, it's easier to express themselves through writing. I feel like that's kind of the case for me. But
Noah learned to be super quiet. In the beginning time with me, he's pretty active, in speech. This is more reserved. I think it's not because me, maybe because you young guys, he has to act up, be a teacher, something. We don't know yet, so we're gonna study that. So Noah, what do you think?
I like the points that everyone mentioned, like going back to Benji. This class certainly is more than, it is obviously a writing class, but really with any class, especially those that we engage in as like a community with more people. It does teach us, like I think I mentioned this in my study course, just the importance of self-discipline, not just in the quality of your work, but even the timeliness of it. I do know, like especially in the beginning when we first introduced like Kayla and Benji into the class and everything, there were all of us together had trouble with like reaching deadlines and different things like that. That actually opened up opportunities for us to have discussion about the importance of meeting deadlines and how that affects not only one's own schedule of study, but even the teacher's schedule and being able to like grade stuff and everything. And so it develops, I think, an awareness of the student to look beyond his own schedule and see how it actually is dependent on other people's schedules and how other people's schedules are even dependent on the students. And so there is a bit more of an awareness and a sense of responsibility that comes with deadlines and stuff. So that was kind of a cool aspect of the class that has been opened up and of course will still be active in this class. And as another aspect like Kayla mentioned, it is not just, we obviously are writing stuff, that's the homework, kind of the content of the homework during the week, but obviously when we engage in the time, we're not just gonna have someone teaching the subject, but it's actually a very student engaged time, so everybody will be not only reading their work, even talking about their thoughts behind the work, but you'll also be reading other people's work and talking about their work. So do expect to engage in conversation and not just, kind of sit back and listen to a lecture. That's the kind of time that this will be. So that's a really cool part of it as well. And yeah, I do like Naomi's point as well, and just how it kind of opens up kind of a whole other side of the person to see not just the content of their thoughts, but their form of expression, which is actually something that we want to refine in this class. Basically, it is a writing class, so it is teaching you how to better express yourself in writing and speaking, and how to, of course, engage in others' expressions. Not to simply praise other people's work, but to criticize it too in a constructive way. So
constructive criticism.
there's a whole bunch of things in this class that are actually very beneficial in the way that we relate to one another as students, and the importance that we place in learning and scheduling and things like that. So
Yeah. Well, thank you, Noah. Yeah, Esther and Elijah, do you guys have anything to share? Especially helpful for young people. I mean, you new people.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
I agree with what everyone said.
Yeah.
I haven't before we started writing class and stuff, I didn't do much writing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely.
I want you to take time because your age more, relevant to Emma's, the young man's their age. I think you start with a young age, gradually increased your ability to appreciate and to express. So go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, this definitely helped me a lot with writing, obviously, and I think the subjects we choose are really important because.
Can you run down a little bit of subjects you remember?
Yeah. So the first one we did, I think, was something about. I forget what that was, but
Just a few set out for you.
yeah, we did praise versus criticisms, and we've done. Can't remember them now that I'm trying to think of them. But
Not do I.
We did humility.
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 That's a good one. Yeah.
And I think the poems were a lot of fun too.
The poems. Yeah.
because, I mean, I'm still working a lot on my writing skills because it's still pretty difficult for me. But once I get into it, I definitely enjoy doing writing, and I think it's definitely an important thing for us to do.
Nobody intimidated by writing, really excited by writing, and so far, right? So that's good. So, yeah, that's great achievements, right? Yeah, so I'm proud as a teacher. I didn't dismiss anybody, intimidate students away from writing, inspire you to write. So, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah.
No, I don't really think I have much left to say.
Okay.
But
Okay. So Elijah had nothing to share really? Share with your friend? Yeah. Step in their shoes a little bit, thinking what they want to hear.
When you come into writing and you like try to do things,
Yeah.
especially because we've had Kayla and Benji join us before. The four of us, or after the four of us, have been doing it for some time.
Oh, that's
if we're
right.
looking at people that come in, do something like this, and when everyone writes an essay or we get an essay assignment, poem assignment, I think it can be really intimidating when you first write it and you're nervous about your work, nervous about how it's going to be, how it's going to be judged. And I think for the first few times it's a little different because I don't know what kind of stuff you guys have done with writing the poems with other people or just writing in general and having other people see your work. I think it's really good to express your ideas to others, because if you
Mm-hmm.
kind of just hold all your ideas and thoughts and work
Mm.
to yourself, then it doesn't really have room to grow, because it's only judged based on yourself
Mm.
and others. And it's very good to have other
Mm.
people's opinions, especially when the opinions are not hopefully out of like destructive criticism. It's all going to be constructive criticism. And
Mm.
also, there's not just going to be criticism. There's obviously going to be praise for your work,
Mm.
because everyone's ideas,
Mm.
if they're truly trying their best, are always
Mm.
good. But
Mm.
sometimes they need to be helped in how they're expressed.
Yeah.
So I think this class, definitely for me, helped me be able to do that. I
Mm.
still have a lot of room to
Mm.
be better, but
Mm.
I think that I think this class will only be truly beneficial if you're willing to learn from it.
Mm.
Because if you are willing to learn and you are willing to become better
Mhm.
through it, you definitely will. So
Mm.
I think it's very beneficial.
Mm. Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, my mind is a little bit distracted by thinking about group you guys together. You know, that might be helpful. Also wanted to, this is more practical measures. So talking about how to submit your homeworks on a timely fashion, in a timely fashion. So I'm thinking about maybe using more familyness or closeness, close proximity as a factor to group together people. So, but before that, we do that at the end of the session. I'd want to hear each one newcomer here. What's your writing experience it is? How far it goes? What your former engagement look like? What you must heard about this class a little bit. What your impression and your expectations about? So we'll go from there. So now one of the things I want to tell you is more people like we have right now currently have the reading to everybody go through their homework would be super difficult, right? So doing that for that, we're going to have to take turns, okay? Take sample. By the way, your newcomers will hopefully for you guys not being ignored or whatever through the groupings with someone group two together. They look at over, you guys discuss, help you along the way. You will put more help in that way. And if I sample someone, will sample the good ones, we all learn from the good ones rather than stumble over the young ones. Sorry, making sense to you? You know, so learn from good examples. So that's the template, I just came to my mind. Know what you think about this as well, see it's feasible, helpful or not. For sure, if you want personal help, all the group is available for you, so I'm available for you to help you along as well. But normally we want to give a sign of group together, you guys spend time to learn from one another. I want the reading, not merely done by Noah, that would be tremendous burden for him to read everybody, to go through everybody. We do want to read everybody's article as far as possible, but that can take a whole day for us now. So we're not able to do that. So what I'm suggesting is the ones who going to take the lead, you really found something really good to express up the bar, we're going to say, okay, this is a good one. Let's look at that. Okay, so like a submission. So now let me give you some deadline first, so you remember. I want you to write down to put in some of your notes that you can be well remembered. We want the next assignment to be submitted to your helper, by 19. Okay, you have a week to do, and I'm going to assign the name of the poem. I'm going to write the poem first. It's from easy. The name of the poem will be Hope, H-O-P, word general turn, hope, okay? Hope. And you should write at least 10 sentences. At least sentences, how many words should be in a sentence? 20 words, something. Maybe 150 words about, so yeah. to less than 500 would be good, you know. So 10 to 20 sentences, not that too long. So, I just wanted to maybe if you don't know poems, turn to those who assigned to you familiar with writing poems, or your parents, somebody can help you. All the subject matter you don't express, you know, by reading some other poems or learn from the ones familiar with and ask them for some ideas. Am I? You feel free also, especially new ones, bring your poem to the one you think can help you to improve it, to do that. Okay. So, one thing I don't want to witness is a lot of grammar errors, spelling errors, like somebody did. Okay. She's smiling. So we don't do that. I commend you to at least give me a well-edited poem. Okay. So don't just write out, send it out at the last moment. So I want you to review it, revise it, and make sure your grammar, your spelling is right. Make sense to you? Now, understand your grammar, your spelling going to be a big portion, like a 10 in 100 grade will matters. Okay, we'll see someone doing grammar wrong. We're going to deduct 10 off your grading. Okay, so it's 100 scale grading. Okay, so Noah, is that okay for you? That's normal to do. So now, on the deadline thing, we don't want to struggle with any deadline. Okay, well, we need you to apply some more very positive and help attitude in approaching this class. Don't treat it as just any class. I want you to learn to discipline yourself to help us to maintain a good discipline for the class, a good flow for the class. So if your parents have accommodated in that way, different way, or yourself adopt a certain way, I ask you to discard all that, to learn from one another what the right way to do homework submission, how to schedule yourself, how to come on time. We're not wait on you. Actually, you always show late. I'm going to take a problem with your parents, okay? So I'm going to tell them that's not going to happen, okay? So well, you might think I'm harsh. However, I have done with that with the pissing children, pretty harsh on them. One time Elijah, in the night, had to submit the homework. Don't pass the deadline. 12 o'clock in the evening. He learned a good lesson on that. Am I? Yeah, that was a good best lesson. He said. So that is because I have that solid relation with the parents. You know, I'm not sure the new parents come around are able to do that. You know, I don't have past history with you. I would depend on your young students, however, to take that in mind, to let your parents be aware certain things you be ranked up, whatever needs to be done. Now, if you don't like this class, you don't have to tag along, okay? So this class is an interest class. It's a life skill class. It's a group setting. People really feel the heart in it, feel beneficial for them. You feel free, said, I don't like that class. You know, tell your mom or dad, you know, even tell me, said, I don't want to come. That's perfectly fine, okay? So don't feel compelled, has to come, okay? So make sense to you, you know, so. Now, if you have time, something called a sick or other engagement, disturb your schedule, that's fine. I fully understand life is not even for everybody. You just need to, before the deadline, to explain, to give us a notice, give the helper notice, give me a notice that I can really fulfill my deadline or fulfill this assignment this time. Please give me, like you go to school, sometimes give notes to the teacher. I might forgive you for certain delays or whatever. Now, I hope the subject of the practice will be tremendous help for you as it have been improved. Now, Ryan, now I'm going to take turns in this turn, maybe from Isaac, am I? So, can you give a rundown of your guys' writing experiences? What you come here? What kind of impression or expectation you have? So,
we have a decent amount.
You understand my English? Is that okay for you? Oh, good. Okay, so go ahead.
We have a decent amount of writing experience. We
Okay.
used to go to a co-op and you can kind of take different classes there. So
Oh, okay.
everyone's probably taken at least one writing class.
Is that right? That's back in Austin here or
Yeah.
something? Oh, okay, yeah.
So we're mainly here just to improve our writing and
Writing.
skills.
Well, I hope we're up in bar, man. Intimidated now. We don't know. So, your mom said you got like poem. You got like poem reading, writing. Have you written poems before?
I dabbled.
You dabble. Okay, I would like to see for you.
Helps
So,
him out sometimes.
is that right? He shared that with you before? Okay, give me a couple. I want to see it. Okay. Okay. Seriously, are you good? You happy about it? Okay, we're getting there.
They're lovely.
Yeah, I noticed many of our young students here, their writing skills in 1 year writing poems, the skills is highlighted, you know. So hope that's gonna happen continually to all of us. Anything else you feel while you're here? Expectation, anything? Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Okay. Now I don't have a solid idea how to do the grouping. Can you help me out? What the best grouping to do? I'm thinking, here's my proposal. Kila, you and your brothers are close, right? So, you know, you guys might just group together. Is that making sense to you to help me out? But with different context, our context, right? The class context, not brother sister used to be, okay? So it was your dad's help was sure to help me out. And also, hey young man, Kaden, you approach your sister, your father on this subject. Don't acting like this little brother, okay? You know, says my point as good students, am I? You know, so making sense to you to learn from someone, to interact with someone, ask relevant questions, ask where pinpoint questions, okay? You know, just like you would ask me, am I? So in this light, your sister is my representation. You understand that? Yes. So if she struggle, she's gonna report to me. I'm gonna have a rundown with you, okay? Don't apply attitudes, okay? So none of you should use your childish attitude to engage this class with unhealthy things going on, okay? But you have struggle, you have a certain thing going on. Everybody's here to help you, but without unproductive, unnecessary struggles, okay? So one of the things we want to address is the familiar ways, familiar ideas. You go to a class, a different setting, uncomfortable, but as you goes on, you might get a familiar attitude going on. Try to use your own set of understanding, your own set of situation to condition the one interact with you, especially in this class. Oftentimes, I'm in clash. Am I, Naomi, is that right? Yes. I have to tell them, no, you come there, you know, it's a class setting, somebody's going to tell you what to do, you know, so, and you got to fulfill those expectations, you know, we'll make mistakes, and we want you to improve other portions as well, help us improve ourselves, am I? So, no one going to be my helper. We're not perfect, you know, we want to hear you out, want to improve, but we don't want to involve some attitude or personal stuff, am I right? So that is just like not helpful for anybody. Am I making sense to you? Yeah. So you as the youngest, I had to address you, and Kila, you guys are more distant to us, so you feel free to give your dad a report what's going on there. Okay. So lay out the template. Okay. So yeah. Actually, involve your dad and parents. Give a good discussion because that's going to be a format. The young ones are going to come up, right? So you're going to help your young siblings, right? So making sense to you, you know, so you be a good student, good learner this way, then you'll feel free to impart the same rule to yourself, making sense to you and to others, okay? So, and I'm making sense to you. Now, Naomi, you going to group with whom? Who are you group with in the midst of that? Because you're able helper, so. I just don't know. Isaiah, how old are you, sir? 16. You're pretty old, so maybe you don't need some major guidance, but I still want you to maybe feel free to merge in the contest. I will assign you to Noah, okay? So is that okay? So, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I could.
You can choose the land or the young lady, so whichever.
So just to clarify, when you're with the grouping system right here, are you having the older member of that group be he or she who grades the work?
Yeah, we're gonna have the older ones grade the younger ones, then submit the contest to you. So the grade theirs. So
Okay.
yeah, but group we gotta have the one more aged, more experienced
So
in
we
writing.
can certainly do that. This is like an alternative thing, just for our consideration. The only reason I mention it here is because we're all together.
Yeah.
But another thing that could happen is, so when we had the 5 students,
Mm-hmm.
I could actually grade all of their work, whether it was an essay or poems, in less than 30 minutes.
In less 30
And
minutes, you
so
can do
altogether,
that.
I could get everyone's grade in at least an hour, but what will require grouping is the review.
Yeah.
So maybe we could have like 3 or 4 students, from that particular essay reviewed on a day, and then the next one.
We don't want to do our own grading. We want the young ones raise up to be able to grade others, to help others. Yeah. So then we're going to consolidate to you and I to do the final grading. So 2 stages, okay? So
Okay.
that's why I said 19. The next time is 2 weeks. Again, this time it'll be framework. It's only 1 simple poem. I think can do it. So that's setting in motion for you guys to learn to be a teacher yourself and to help others. So they can, while doing that, because the writing material is the same, they're going to use to help one another. So want to do that. So then after this meet, the ones who do the group leaders going to help to submit on deadline the essay to Noah and I, okay, in together. Noah at that time would divide which to grade. I will hope you can grade it all, so give me
that
the,
actually is way better.
yeah,
like I
then
said.
give me the eminent one, said this is the one I think good for discussion. You saw that I send that one to me, so I then study with you, whatever, I look at it myself, then we group discuss about it. How about that, okay?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay, yeah. So that's gonna happen, the next submission is 19th, then give you a couple of days to do that, for you guys to do that. Excuse me. I think by the Tuesday, leading to Friday, is 3 days for Nova to catch up, okay? By Tuesday, okay? By the end of Tuesday, then a week. The submission is by the end, during the weekend, basically. You guys have the weekend to work on that, so, yeah. Am I making sense to you? Okay, it's a stage, okay, so.
So am I still choosing someone to?
To grade, yeah. To discuss, to help with the writing, so.
So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
with me and him, I
Mhm.
will help grade his, and then you will grade mine.
You can even help the edit, so yeah, don't worry about it. We just want them to seriously learn
Yeah.
head on. Obviously, with so many people, Noah and I cannot able to be head on for everything, so, but we can hand on some as example for you guys to learn from it. But you need to hand on to everyone assigned to you, okay? So one person can take on 2 if you can. We don't just out there to do all at all. So if you feel able to do it, I think you're pretty good with writing. The one near you is good, so if you need help, ask us to help, wherever it is. Hey, Benji, you think you can help Emma? The home setting is much better, and my brother, sister, I think is much better setting, so the only thing, I don't know the fries, sorry, so I'm gonna send the Payson children to help, so. What do you think, guys? How do you Payson children, what do you think? How to help these 3 young people? Mm-hmm. I think Isaiah is sent to you, is that okay?
I
So
offered to help Niles.
Niles, okay,
The
great.
Only thing with,
Liam,
the only thing with doing things between different families is that this family in particular will need to be good with how to share their work via docs, which may be easier for them. Or
Yeah.
it may be
let's learn that, in private time. Each person can help the one side to learn use Google Docs, okay? To share our information on Google Docs. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do that after as a part of the homework, okay? So, yeah. Leanne, who you wanted to teach you to help you along the way?
I don't care.
Don't say that. Up to whichever you think can help you best. Yeah. Elijah is there. Elijah is available. Yeah.
Yeah,
Elijah, we want to help who?
sure.
You want to help him?
Who?
Your body?
I thought, no.
Yeah,
it was-
that doesn't matter. So nobody can take on Elian. So. You think you're
I
disqualified?
think I would be better with Isaac because
Mhm.
I think Isaac is more experienced than one of me.
I think you
teaching.
guys have some rapport, am I? You guys always battling each other. So
What?
I'm
No.
joking. Yeah.
I
Share a
just
night
think
together.
Liam is not as experienced as Isaac, and me,
Yeah.
who is still, I mean, I'm somewhat experienced, but I'm not, I don't think I'm
Yeah.
really experienced to the point where I can help someone who's really low.
You think Isaiah can help Leanne? Homesteading
I don't
much
know.
What I
better.
think would be the best solution.
Uh-huh.
just Because
Yes,
it's
sir.
all kind of localized,
Yes.
and because I think Isaac's capable is
Yeah.
just like we're doing with Kayla helping
Yeah.
Kaden and
Local, I
Benji
think is
helping
good.
Kayla. I
Yeah.
think Isaac could handle reviewing his brother's work.
Yeah, that's
And then
good. Is that
everyone
okay
says-
for you? Huh? Yeah. I think you got to do a good job. Uh-huh. We don't want to do, as I said, we don't want to just do family setting, old ways. Okay, we want to adapt new ways. That's why I want to assign new member to you. But you guys do a job. Noah can definitely call a way to help you. Okay, so please. Okay, so treat it a little bit like a project. We don't want to drag into the old mode. We want to try do other thing, do a new way. Is that okay for you, Leanne? You also email away from me, okay? So, okay, you can talk to your mom and talk to me directly if you want a special help, okay? So, making sense to you? So, don't feel left out, okay? So, yeah. Also, your young age might struggle in the beginning. Don't feel bad about Emma, and kid, you guys gonna struggle, okay? So, you understand my point, so a year later, stay long, half a year later, you're pretty much familiar with the environment, the flow, and you will greatly improve your will expression as well. It's always a learning process. Nobody good at anything in the beginning, right? Nobody familiar with everything in the beginning. So don't feel struggle with that. Is that making sense, Emma, to you? Yeah. So, yeah, you have a good brother can help you as well. So, he's very expressive. So far, do a good job. So, yeah, I'm impressed. So, yeah. Okay, that being said, so let me give you the dates so you don't confuse, okay? So the calendar stand is on the 19th, before 19th, and the 19th, okay? Before the night, that's a Saturday, the 19th, mark the date down. You're going to submit your homework to your, let's say, group leader, whatever the word. Group leader on the end 22nd. Okay, that's the Tuesday. Submit that to Noah and I. Okay, so rather you might want to directly submit to Noah for him to review. Noah, is that correct for you? Yeah, so okay.
So submit
To Noah, yeah, to Noah, yeah. And Noah, when you're done, I don't know how long it takes for you. Basically, on Tuesday or Friday, give to me, okay? Best for hope for Wednesday you can give to me by the end of Wednesday, okay? So I have a day to review myself. Is that making sense to you? So,
Thursday,
yeah.
So 19th is when they submit it.
Submit to you. Yeah, you can help. Then begin to do during the weekend to help. And right, you have 3 days to help, okay? So is that making sense to you? This is going to be a routine, okay? 2 weeks around, we're going to write essays and then home. This is going to be a same pace, okay? So you have, let's see, about 8 days at least to finish your essay. In the future, because it's going to come to the differentiate actually 2 weeks time to do it, right? Because I hope that can be true, but not sure. But you just write it out. It's not a big job. It's get it done a week, right? Get it done. So, okay, 19th, 22nd. 22nd is the one for directors of the group. And Noah going to be, hopefully Wednesday, going to give to me. Sorry, that's 1 day, man. That's tough. Now, I don't know. I need the day, So, should do we Monday rather than the Tuesday for the group? Yeah, give them 2 days, maybe, So, I hope you submit as soon as possible to your directors. So we give them more time. They can just submit to us, ahead of time. Is that making sense to you? Okay. So, but the deadline. Now, what if we pass the deadline? Or pass the deadline, I'm going to cut down your grading, okay? On the end of grading. Now, pass the deadline 3 times. Continually 3 times. I'm going to give your parents a call. Let them to oversee your deadline, okay? So, okay? Yeah, I'm going to have your dad, your mom treat me a dinner by that time. So, yeah, and you're not invited. I'm joking. Now, before wrap it up, I do want to finish 2 things. Next time when we gather together, because we're not going to do reading as yet, writing, greetings yet together. We're going to do some poem reading or essay reading. I want you to, by that time, maybe purchase this book, The Poetry by Heart, okay? Everybody get a copy, okay? If you can get a hard copy, it's a good book. Okay, now today I want to read the preface for this book, talking about how to appreciate the poems, give an idea why this is a selection of poetry. Next time, we're going to have Noah to share with us, as he did before, how to compose essays. Maybe Noah can bring a short piece of essay to dissect it a little bit, to tell them how to do essay writing. Is that okay for you? So next time. So poetry, yes, sir. Go ahead.
I don't understand what from the time span to write the essay.
I'll hope you could.
It's not an essay. It's a poem. Poem, hope. Do you remember the requirement for the poem? Then repeat. Okay. At least 10 sentences. Okay.
Yeah.
At least
10. It's
at least 150 words. You know, less than 20 sentences. 10 to 20 sentences. Words is 150 to 500. Okay, you don't have that long. Hopefully, guys, most likely those are going to fall into the right length for the poem. The title is Hope. I encourage you, before you write it, discuss that with your parents. Also, before you submit to your director, even do thorough review and editing, so you don't have grammar or spelling errors, which easily. You guys, when you see grammar or error for spelling, don't help them, okay? You need to agree on that part. You have 10 degrees. If you write terribly wrong, just cut down 10 scores, okay? So they understand, help them to discipline themselves, okay? So then you can help them correct it, okay? After you read it, then help them correct it, okay? So make it sense to you? So, yeah. Okay. Now we're going to read on this book. There's a little bit preface. You may don't have the book. Let me read it for you. Let's see. I'm going to read called the Introduction, which has 10 minutes. Short reading. Introduction said, in its deepest tradition, poetry is acoustic form. Acoustic means making sound, rhymes. Pre-songs and battle songs, history narratives, loud chants, spells, ceremonial hymns. In the mead hall and thereabouts, all these things were delivered through the audience with the assumption that the sound words spoken aloud was an essential part of their meaning. When printed book were invented, as more eyes were able to see words on the page than ever before, this sound world modified. Gradually became more and more involved with the page world, with arrangement and look of words, and with the idea that the meaning of a poem depended on the understandings generated through the eye as much as it did on those received through the ear. Or perhaps depended more on the eye than it did on the ear. In fact, as generation upon generation of silent readers followed, the ear became increasingly like a sleeping partner in the appreciation of poetry. Its appetites were fed by conversations about metre, rhyme, but its hunger to hear things out aloud was generally ignored or left unsatisfied. And things have turned out. The internet, the very new from the thing, have been able to restore the very old from the truths about the poetry's deep nature, about the breath and noise, about the acoustic. The Poetry Archive proves this. It was launched in 2005, that Petoma is their archive system, okay? So now let's move on to the next paragraph. Said the Poetry Archive celebrates what Robert Frost called the sound of sense. That is exemplified by poets themselves. Anyway, but basically talking about this society poetry, how to restore using reading aloud to preaching poems. But I wanted to read on the next portion of this book called Editors. Let me see this one. Yeah, Editor's Notes. I think this one's really good. Remember, this one's good. Okay, let's look at this. Editor's Notes, talking about this collection. Poetry by Heart, that is the title of this book, is a poetry recitation competition for schools and colleges in England that will launch in 2013. This is a poem collection for this purpose. Young people aged 14 to 18, that's your guys, most like your age, learn 2 or 3 poems by heart from the collection originally published on our website, poetrybyheart.org.uk. Now you want to write that down if you want to. Poetrybyheart.org.uk. Poetrybyheart.org.uk. And now in this volume, they compete in the school or college competition from which a winner progresses to a county contest. County contest winners take part in regional semi-finals, and the last 8 students compete in the national final, judged by contemporary poets and poetry experts. Our winners to date have certain people. Poetry by Heart is an educational initiative, the Poetry Archive, poetryarchive.com, poetryarchive.com. The primary online collection recording poets reading their own works. That is, you can find a lot of poets reading their own works. I have heard some Robert Frost, Yeats himself reading the poems are pretty outstanding. So, which was developed in association with the Full English, the fullenglish.org.uk. Okay. It currently supported financially by the Department for Education of England. Okay, so, okay, that's interesting. I forgot which one. Must not be this book. But let me just give I think from the material I wanted to cover. How you appreciate the poems. The poem is really is a personal journey, appreciation. I don't know about you guys, how you pick it up on the way, how you pick it up. I was pretty enamored by poetry while in high school. The art of words, the art of thoughts, pretty impact me a lot. Actually impact me so much I choose, they call liberal art as a division of education. I choose liberal art rather than kind of education like physics, mathematics, and education. And through the years, I can remember learning poems in different settings, English poems or Western poems, especially English poem itself, not translated ones, is much later when I came around actually here, more and more begin to appreciate it. But still my English ability is a great impediment for me to understand writing poems, and never able to find a greater freedom in composing poems. That is not really the case for me in terms of Chinese poems. I really learned to write poems, appreciate poems, Chinese extensively, so especially classic poems. I'm a little bit expert on classic poems for one time, right now forgotten. So now it's my understanding poem, but I do remember the translated poem, the power translated poem changed my life. One of the book I remember early days, the authors I admired after Leo Tolstoy was Pasternak. That is a book that I recommend to called Dr. Zhivago. Pasternak is a great poet, Russian poem, last century, basically. And he has this little collection on the end of the book, called the Dr. Zhivago. And the poet was well translated at that time. I remember I don't understand the poem very well. It's like the words, I would recite them, try to figure out what they say. For example, talking about a mouse knock himself in the clock, so case himself in the clock. I never understand the imagery still today, but I think it's funny. Those things can be poetry imageries, right? So, extending from there, I began to study a little bit Russian poetry a little bit, extensively a little bit, and then landed in collect poetry from English tradition, translated mostly. And then found it very interesting, when found those poems in English, pretty much was startling how it was translated differently. So it's a different experience than you guys in terms of broaching your native language as English. Still, English language has morphed, changed through the ages so much, So it's a long history would be in the poetry tradition of the English societies or English civilization. And I encourage you to have a poem like this one, collection from the beginning, the past till today, so you have a basic taste of different stage of English, different poetry style, so most likely give a good collection. So it's a very solid book. Considering the value of it, this book's really cheap, okay? So the bad thing about this thing is don't give you a lot of interpretation. The poem itself, you just need to find the one you like, you want to know, to do a long line research. You'll find the author, find the relevant meanings, interpretation of the poems. Poem interpretation is a great art and a lot of theory applied to it, so actually greatly influenced Western philosophy for the past century, so that was overtake English philosophy forward, even when talking interpretation, how to interpret the text. Now, I don't want to brag about my understanding, which is were factured, maybe not necessarily accurate as well. My point is we appreciate poems need to be always recovered. We see in the Bible, David and many others use the psalms, lyrics to praise God, and some are spiritual songs, right? Some are prophetic songs. So poetry always, with songs combined together, has been inspiration for humankind, and more than just for enjoyment, but actually for praise or worship. So you guys might have some beautiful feelings with God, with life. They will have maybe worship thoughts, want to put in songs, writings, lyrics, whatever. This class where you can hone your skill a little bit, So the other thing about composing poems are a lot of theories, a lot of different inventions. One of the things is to learn to read, to borrow from other experiences, to learn to appreciate the others, So there are expressions certain people said, basically, that's actually the notion I want to repeat, is you read a poem, you like it so much, every time you read it, it's like a new poem to you, So I know that being true. So many texts I learned through the time, when being your age, and 30 years old or 50 years old, to read a certain same thing, they totally have different understanding, not changed, but enhanced, more in depth. So I, young mind quickly interested in something, sometimes don't necessarily come back to it. I encourage you to maybe put a bottled wine is good, but the aged wine is more better. But the aged wine required a time of waiting, required fermenting and distilling, right? The process. So is in learning excellent poetry, whether in the appreciation part or the creation part of poetry, you got to learn to go through a process of fermenting your skills, fermenting your thoughts, then distilling it, right? Distilling it. One notion, one beautiful imagery, one truth or notion, whatever, it can be fermenting your heart for a long time. They found the right expression right away to express it. It's so many of some poetry also can come quickly through quick inspiration. Hopefully that the importance of distillation don't necessarily stop you from inspire things, but people inspired can't give a quick composition of things. These are people actually have a lot of thought life, they're overflow, right? They don't have anything to flow. I don't think they can act on their inspiration. So in a sense, such a class is to try to nurture a good interest in you for creativity in terms of poetry, writing, but more importantly for you to apply your thoughts, your inner thoughts, to round your thoughts, hewn your thoughts, then apply excellence into expression of the expressions of your thoughts. Now I use a little bit enigmatic words, which I don't like to use to give a speech to you, because I have to be a teacher, so can tell a story. But next time, and that's about the poetry. Next time we're going to have Noah to teach you or to give you some discussion of basic constructions of how poetry, how essays should be written. So with that, we'll wrap it up. So I'm going to have Noah to pray for us, and then we'll wrap it up. So yeah, go ahead, Noah.
Lord, we bless your holy name. Lord, I do thank you for this time. Lord, I know that I am very glad to have more students in the class. Lord, we look forward to see, Lord, that how you would work, Lord, in each life and in this time. Lord, not only to strengthen our abilities to express ourselves, Lord, the overflow of our thoughts and our hearts, Lord, and how to do so to one another, Lord, even unto you. Lord, but I also look forward to seeing how you, Lord, touch each life with, Lord, the example that you give us, Lord, through and to one another. Lord, may we learn and have a true heart and focus on how we discipline ourselves, Lord, both in and outside of class. Lord, not to do so in what would seem like an uncomfortable or rigid way, Lord, but do so because we know, Lord, that it Lord, strengthens our inner man, Lord, strengthens our ability to relate to one another in a more mature way, Lord, and to, as a whole, Lord, mature as people, as men and women, and as, Lord, your sons. So, Lord, I do pray that you would bless this time, Lord, bless each heart that willingly engages in it. I pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, Glenn, welcome again, guys, to this class. Okay, so, amen.